These two games only had one player, but the man still played for 11 years. Unexpectedly, on the day Kang Jin-hyuk completed all levels, the game world became a reality. Everyone received a quest board, requiring them to complete the challenge on the first floor of the Tower of Trials within 90 days. If they failed, humanity would face extinction. Kang Jin-hyuk, relying on his gaming memories and SSS rank replication skill, gradually became the top god killer in this world. But was everything truly that simple? Who exactly turned this game into reality? Why did Kang Jin-hyuk keep facing disasters that never appeared in the game? Well, let's stop rambling and dive into the content to follow Kang Jin-hyuk's journey. Trash game refers to games that are boring, often buggy or have poor servers. So when someone frustratingly exclaims, "Damn, what a trash game," there are only two cases. Either there are annoying minor bugs that make players bored, as mentioned before, or the difficulty is unreasonably high. The virtual reality game Tower of Trials also falls into this category. When the game first launched, Korean gamers, with their habit of beating games even before the developers' expectations, plunged headfirst into it, playing intensely for 365 days a year, forgetting to eat and sleep. But after 3 years, people started to realize that the NPC and stages were constantly being upgraded, and each subsequent stage would fix the bugs of the previous one. From super-powered guardians to obstacles ready to attack all players, attempting to pass just one slight misstep would force them back to the starting point to begin the long journey once more. Furthermore, in later stages, there was a seamless combination of soft and hard elements, with a new set of obstacle equipment and the appearance of entirely new tentacle monsters with almost absolute power. In other words, Tower of Trials was an unbeatable game because the Guardian NPC guarding the gates were almost invincible. Regarding the setting, the Arctic temperature was 60 degrees Celsius, killing players in just 1 hour. As for the map space, the labyrinth was 10,000 square kilometers wide. In short, this game was not designed for entertainment, but rather for torturing players. Therefore, it was unavoidable that curses, complaints, and countless broken controllers were thrown because of this fucking trash game. Subsequently, as expected, the number of players began to decline. More precisely, the game almost went bankrupt. That almost was thanks to a few players who enjoyed being tortured. The harder it got, the more they liked it. They continuously cleared stages and sought to conquer the tower. Ultimately, there were still pro players who refused to give up, aiming to beat this ridiculously difficult game. For instance, Kang Jin-hyuk often sweated profusely while sitting in front of the screen, his hands moving swiftly to conquer the Tower of Trials. Heaven did not disappoint him. Finally, after many months of waiting, the notification he longed for appeared. You have conquered floor 50, and this is also the final tower floor. Therefore, a notification immediately appeared afterward. Congratulations, you are the first to clear the Tower of Trials. His body covered in dust and the trails of blood flowing from the wounds on his arm all confirmed it. He was bewildered. Is it real? Am I truly happy? The feeling of achieving a goal after researching every possible way to conquer the tower, repeating it until it became second nature, and finally clearing it, brought countless past images to mind. The game had drained his energy, his mind, and his money, yet it was truly ending. This journey was truly enough to compensate for 11 years of his life's dedication. The feeling of joy passed, and he pondered, I can't believe I actually conquered the final floor. I should have streamed it. Haha. Or I could upload this to YouTube. Even though it's just a trash game, it might still get a few views. Suddenly a notification popped up, catching his attention. The content read, "Thank you for playing our game until now. The new update will download in 12 hours. Please continue to enjoy the game after the update." Recalling some tabloid news related to the game's producer, he was surprised and a little contemptuous. I can't believe they're still updating it. Where did they get the money for this? Did they accidentally find an oil well in the desert or something? What the hell, Canada? They didn't even earn any profit from this game. Well, those guys must have planned this all out. Anyway, even if the game had a new update, I wasn't going to play it anymore. He took off his headphones, officially leaving the game. The small joy of beating the game was enough to satisfy him, as he intended to quit both his streamer and YouTuber careers that he had been dedicated to for so long. Although I don't have a family to support, I'm 27 years old now. I can't keep living with a job that only makes $500 a month forever. I should probably tell the gym owner that I won't be coming for a while. Once he thought things through, everything became easier. Passion and reality are difficult to reconcile. They are ordinary people, not favorites of heaven. The heavenly Tao won't make an exception to pity them just because they shed sweat and tears. Then he stood up, stretched his limbs, and walked away from the most luxurious computer setup in his cramped single room. Looking out at the vast sky through the tiny window, he now felt very comfortable, no longer burdened. He thought, people often told me I should become a professional fighter, but now money is more important than fighting. A peaceful moonlit night. On the live chat channel, a user named JJY77 arrived first. Jinha means hello Jin-hyuk, followed by the account Eagle. What's up? Why are you streaming so early today? These were all long-time fans. He smiled foolishly at the screen. After a while, the live chat channel became lively. They criticized with comments. Look at all that food, bro. Mukbang streams are the absolute best, damn it. They're even better than game streams. This comment came from the account Mukbang Killer. No wonder this person commented like that. The subsequent comments were equally rude. Better to be a demon than a starving ghost. A philosophy of life no one wants to accept. Eat until your stomach is full and your eyes are heavy, guys. The comments continued to joke playfully, unaware that this was the last time. He couldn't smile anymore. Important announcement, everyone, I have something to tell you guys. The comment channel asked with concern, "Hey, why are you suddenly so serious, bro? Don't tell me you're getting married. That's boring." He was silent for a moment, then teased, "Shh, I'm just pretending to mess with you guys." After all, he still reluctantly drank his glass of wine. He thought I should probably post my retirement notice tomorrow. The wine bottles lay scattered on the table. The lights dimmed and then turned off completely. Early in the morning, the wine bottles were still neatly on the table. He tossed and turned, his hair disheveled and feeling sluggish from sleeping in the wrong position. He rubbed his head and thought I should just upload the video of clearing the Tower of Trials. He clumsily went to turn on his computer. What greeted his eyes astonished him. It was a broadcast with a sensational title, "The Tower of Trials has truly become a reality." He looked bewildered, wondering what new prank this was. The Tower of Trials has become a reality. So he clicked to watch. Inside the live stream, a ghostly tower appeared. The setting gradually became game-like. Countless people watched. The reporter commented, "Wow, everyone sees it right. You're still watching, aren't you? I just found out about this thanks to Watermelon's report. It seems this thing comes from a game called Tower of Trials, released 11 years ago. On the comment channel, those who knew responded, 'I saw it in the game Tower of Trials.' Those who don't know, hurrah, hurrah, want some fire. What is it, my friend? Long time no see. Why am I the only one who feels like a caveman?" The reporter continued to comment, "Can you believe it? Wait." Then suddenly stopped, because the sky had turned blood red. Comments flooded with red question marks. "Holy hell, is this real insane? Hello? What time is it? Is it sunset, bro?" As a long-time player who had cleared the game, how could he not recognize that this setting was exactly like the game? How could it be? This is the prologue of the Tower of Trials. Immediately after an illusory notification that shouldn't have appeared popped up in front of him, he was astonished. What is this? The content was very short and concise. Tower of Trials, very good. First update, successful. Everyone clear the next floor of the tower within 90 days. Of course, to be fair, no one said they were in an enclosed space and couldn't read the outdoor announcements, so the game very reasonably displayed personal notifications for everyone, followed by the penalty if humanity failed. The words that followed were too horrific. His chair fell to the ground. He sprang up, staring in shock at the notification. With 3 missing words will vanish. The system announced the first update of the Tower of Trials has been completed. Scene switches to a messy bedroom. System updates information. The number of people accepting reality has increased sharply. Jin Hyuk thought deeply, "I need to cool my head first." He quickly put on his jacket, thinking that if the Tower of Trials truly appeared in the real world, he couldn't waste time here. Jin Hyuk rushed forward, seizing the opportunity, murmuring to himself, "I must hurry. I must reach the place where I can collect that item." He dashed down the stairs, fearing the world might be destroyed. Kang Jin Hyuk wondered, but why? His hand touched the railing and he slid down faster. As he slid, Jin Hyuk realized his heart was pounding again with this excitement. Scene switches to a bustling downtown area with many people. The brown-haired man at the train station anxiously looked for a train, which is the fastest train to Busan. The man in the jacket yelled, "Fuck! Even if you go to Busan, you won't escape. We have to cross the Korean border." The man in the hat thought, "That's reasonable. We need to go to another country to survive." The short-haired girl quickly stopped them, saying, "What nonsense are you talking about? The tower has appeared in other countries too." One of the two panicked and said, "Oh, where do we hide now?" One of them replied, "Anywhere but Seoul." That person added, "If you're stupid enough to stay, you're dead for sure." Scene switches to an escalator. Jin Hyuk stood there thinking, now is not the time to retreat but to advance. He went straight down, muttering to himself. In the Korean server, this place was chosen as an alien zone. Jin Hyuk began to list. There must be about 30 of them in the whole country. This is the closest one to me. Scene switches to the area outside the event venue. Jin Hyuk arrived. The system announced, "You are entering the event zone." He looked at the ruins in front of him, not understanding what had happened. Kang Jin Hyuk realized that the people here were those who had played through the prologue of the Tower of Trials. He observed their actions and thought, it's understandable that they're all glaring at each other. Jin Hyuk continued to notice that items would soon appear in limited quantities. If lucky one could collect a maximum of 5. Suddenly a voice from behind called out his name. "You're Kang Jin Hyuk, aren't you?" Lee Jong-soo said, "Haha, it really is Jin Hyuk." Then he recognized, "Wow, you came here too. You've locked yourself in your room, ignoring everything just to grind this game all day." Information about Yong-soo, a Freaka TV streamer, collaborator with 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. In other words, Yong-soo was an extremely popular streamer. Additional information, also the CEO of the company I used to work for. He looked at Yong-soo and asked, "Don't you have a stream scheduled now?" He pointed behind him and replied, "Ugh, with something like this, what good would streaming do for me anymore?" Yong-soo stood beside him and began to interrogate him. "By the way, what floor did you conquer in this game?" "Come on," Yong-soo said to an old colleague, "let's share some secrets." Hearing that, he thought, Colleague Jin Hyuk thought of the streamers being deceived and muttered, his company has tricked so many streamers into signing those slave contracts. The more they streamed, the more money they lost. He added, their voices were suppressed by the power and loud voices of the company's legal team. Streamers were helpless, mentally and physically oppressed. The camera monitored everyone. He couldn't stand it and snatched it from its position. He even unplugged the camera. Kang Jin Hyuk believed that's why all his close friends, from the very beginning of his journey, had left this field. Yongsoo grabbed his shoulder and said, I know you're a good player, and your mukbang videos are quite good too. He explained, I'll rewrite the contract so that both sides benefit. What do you think? Jin Hyuk annoyedly called Lee Yongsoo. He warned him, the world has changed, Jin Hyuk said while gesturing towards Yongsoo. Don't talk to your dad like we're friends. You idiot. Two of Yongsoo's teeth fell to the ground. He painfully clutched his mouth, a pained cry echoing. He looked at Yongsoo struggling on the ground and thought to himself, that felt satisfying. He figured it must be time for the items to appear. Scene switches to another location, a still lake surface. Water droplets there rose above the surface. The water there shot up high. A hazy tree canopy appeared. The tree gradually became clearer. A large ancient tree appeared with lush green foliage and a sturdy trunk swaying in the wind. Two people witnessed the scene, the young man exclaimed. Wow! The girl recognized it as a mangrove tree. Jin Hyuk saw the tree and immediately thought it's just like in the game Tower of Trials. He couldn't believe his eyes and said, is this a dream? So I remembered correctly. Notification, the greedy mangrove tree has appeared. Fruits began to appear on the tree. The people below exclaimed in surprise. Wait, that thing? Another person said, it's fruit. The tree has fruit. He looked at the number of fruits on the mangrove tree and said, each delicious fruit is budding and ripening, increasing strength, speed and magic stats. Jin Hyuk thought, of course it's a good item, but there are only 4 fruits in total. The crowd below exchanged cunning glances, and he realized this would be a fierce competition. The crowd swarmed the mangrove tree yelling, mine. Some screamed as they were trampled, some yelled, get out, some were pushed, some grabbed others' hair saying, stop acting, it's mine. A shirt was flung far from its owner, accompanied by a curse, fuck. Yongsoo sat on the ground complaining, if you had cooperated with me and shared the fruits, we both would have gained something. His mouth full of blood, he spat out, now there are no fruits left. Jin Hyuk coldly replied, if you know, speak up, if you don't, then put on your pants and listen. His eyes were sinister, and he muttered, now is not the time. The blonde woman forcefully pushed her opponent away. Suddenly, a hand picked a fruit from the mangrove tree. He quickly took a bite. The blonde woman hugged him tightly, a displeased expression on her face while he expressed his feelings. Delicious, and he gained 3 agility points. Jin Hyuk noted that most people didn't even know anything about this type of fruit. The remaining people still tried to pick them. He added, those who have played a few times will only focus on getting the fruits. Suddenly, a boundless power erupted from the trunk of the mangrove tree, causing many climbers to fall to the ground. Jin Hyuk looked at the ruins and thought to himself, and lifelong players like me. He smirked, having foreseen this outcome. Jin Hyuk said he would enjoy the brutal transformation process afterward. The tree trunk began to twist and stretch. It slammed down onto the ground, sending rocks flying. The man in the green shirt suddenly realized, damn, I forgot. It'll be very dangerous if I eat all those fruits. The crowd rushed to leave this place the fastest way. Some cursed. Damn it, it's been too long. I completely forgot. Another reminded run, I've died here at least 50 times. As for him, he stood still, calmly observing his surroundings. Yongsoo fearfully slowly left the area. But Kang Jin Hyuk spotted him. He said, are you giving up? He fiercely replied, of course I don't want to die here like this. He calmly asked, really that's a shame because the true reward of this event. Jin Hyuk said, the reward can only be obtained once you eat all those fruits. Yongsoo suspiciously asked again, hey, are you serious? He glanced at Yongsoo and said, if I was lying, why would I still be standing here? He looked at Jin Hyuk and thought to himself, earlier I also wondered why he wasn't trying to get the fruit. This must be why. Yongsoo smirked, thinking, I don't know the details, but it seems like a juicy opportunity. Yongsoo pretended not to believe, saying, let's say you're telling the truth. So what do you think we should do now? He seriously said, we have to go in together. Jin Hyuk looked at the mangrove tree and stated, if we go one by one, we'll easily be targeted, so we need to rush in from 2 opposite sides at the same time. He realized, so you want to distract it? He replied, yes, Jin Hyuk reminded. Remember, if either of us hesitates, we'll both die immediately. Yongsoo replied, don't worry, I've played this game many times too. His footsteps moved swiftly and carefully forward. He believed right now. On this side, Yongsoo also moved forward with extreme caution alongside him. Suddenly the ancient tree erupted as if enraged. It began to extend its trunk and roots surging forward. Jin Hyuk dodged the ancient tree's sudden attack. He remembered Yongsoo. He stopped from a distance, slyly saying, you fool, who would ever believe your words? Yongsoo sinisterly said, go first and be the decoy. Jin Hyuk dodged the attack while listening to Yongsoo. Jin Hyuk smiled, letting Yongsoo know, I'm glad you haven't changed. The root of the mangrove tree began to lunge rapidly further past him. With agile movements, he evaded the attack again and said, because the one who's the decoy. He dodged so that the mangrove root impaled straight towards Jongsu. Jin Hyuk said, "Is you the one standing further from the tree?" Jongsu was utterly surprised, unable to believe his eyes, when the mangrove root appeared in front of him. Countless mangrove roots wrapped around his body. It began to wrap around Jongsu's head. He panicked, not knowing what to do. He dashed towards the mangrove tree, leaving Jongsu to suffer the attack alone. He helplessly begged him to save him. Kang Jin Hyuk glanced at Jongsu and said, "Why should I?" Jongsu was terrified when he heard him add, "If you have any problems, take it to court with your team of lawyers." He was completely covered by mangrove roots, with only one eye remaining. Jongsu helplessly cried out again, "No, I don't want to die." He was tightly bound by countless roots, suffocating with no chance to retaliate. He rushed forward, saying, "Farewell, you scum." Jin Hyuk stood before the mangrove tree, contemplating his next approach. Again, countless roots darted towards him. Kang Jin Hyuk calculated 22 degrees from the left wing. He looked at the root on the right and said 35 degrees from the right side. Jin Hyuk narrowly escaped it, thinking to himself, dodging is as easy as pie. The two roots, missing their target, collided with each other. They plunged straight into their own trunk. They pierced a large hole in its trunk, using its own strength to attack itself. Seeing this, he thought, all right. Finally, a red object appeared from the pierced hole. Jin Hyuk stated that the mangrove core would reveal itself. Seeing this, he thought, it's exactly like what I experienced in the game. Kang Jin Hyuk believed. That's right, finding the precise angle of incoming attacks and manipulating them to one's advantage is the difficult part. Its roots broke off and lay scattered on the ground. He approached and picked one up, using it as a weapon. Kang Jin Hyuk said, "Stop making things difficult. Why don't you hand over the core?" He looked up at the mangrove tree and thought to himself, this is an event, so experience points won't increase at all. At best, I'll secure a spot in the Hall of Fame. Countless mangrove roots plunged out and attacked him. System information. The greedy mangrove tree uses the blood-sucking vine skill. Kang Jin Hyuk calmly faced it. He looked at the countless roots shooting towards him like spears and thought, even though I am a veteran, I can't avoid all of them. His eyes fixed on it, he said, however, as he thought he firmly held the weapon he had picked up to attack it. Jin Hyuk used his strength to block the dangerous attack created by the mangrove root. He used all his might to resist it. Boom! An explosion occurred there. Dirt and rocks flew from the ground. His body agilely escaped, stating, diverting its attack is definitely still feasible. The roots tightly coiled together and lunged forward to attack. Countless roots combined, creating immense power. Jin Hyuk reassured himself. There is no need to be afraid and no reason to be. He alone fought them to the end. His brutal strength resisted countless roots. The mangrove roots that missed him plunged straight into the ground like aimless arrows. Kang Jin Hyuk, valiant and unyielding, watched them operate. He wore a victorious smile on his face and said, this is something I have done countless times before. He realized it was coming soon. Kang Jin Hyuk looked up at the mangrove tree canopy. He noticed many blue butterflies fluttering their wings, flying around the tree. He said those were sleeping butterflies. Kang Jin Hyuk realized they were poisonous and covered half of his face with his hand. He realized they would release sleeping dust towards opponents as a form of self-defense. Jin Hyuk reminded himself that to complete the mission he needed to get past them without inhaling the sleeping powder. He wove through the roots, avoiding the sleeping butterflies, saying, they are easy to defeat. Jin Hyuk rushed forward, stating, all I need to do is hold my breath. A swarm of sleeping butterflies surrounded the mangrove core. He attacked it. The mangrove canopy swayed in the wind, enduring the power of his attack. Jin Hyuk used all his might to reach out and grab it. He slowly approached it, reached out his hand, and took the core of the mangrove tree. Jin Hyuk threw himself into danger. His eyes became resolute, exuding the aura of a capable person. Jin Hyuk alone fought fiercely with it on the mangrove trunk. The leaves above swayed with his power. System notification. Congratulations, you are the first to defeat the greedy mangrove tree. The mangrove trunk split in half. Kang Jin Hyuk looked at it and sighed, letting out all his fatigue. He proudly thought it was worth spending hours researching it. I feel grateful for what I did before. Update information. Your achievement will be recorded in the Hall of Fame tomorrow. Please enter your name here. He annoyedly looked at the information board, just as he thought this trash system is asking for personal information. Jin Hyuk said, I don't want to provide my name. Can all information be anonymous? He pondered deeply. He didn't want to disclose any personal information. Kang Jin Hyuk realized that if he was discovered as a former top player, it would be very troublesome. It seems the system didn't fully accept it. The system announced your unnamed name will be blurred and your voice will be changed. He thought it's telling me to hide my identity again. Anyway, I can't change anything. Fine, whatever you want. Jin Hyuk touched the crack on the tree trunk and said, more importantly, this. He reached deep inside the mangrove trunk. Jin Hyuk smiled, having discovered something. In his hand was a green crystal. He muttered, finally I got it. Jin Hyuk held it tightly, thinking, delicious system information item obtained. Wood crystal. Jin Hyuk held it tightly, thinking, delicious system information item obtained. Wood crystal. He stated that while eating the fruit only increased strength, agility and magic by 3 each time. The wood crystal gave a full 12 points. Jin Hyuk realized that each level up gives 3 points, so this is equivalent to 4 level ups. He looked at it intently and said, "This is truly convenient. There is no other item more beneficial than this throughout all 50 floors." Kang Jin Hyuk put the wood crystal into his mouth and swallowed it. Suddenly, a green light from the wood crystal emanated from Kang Jin Hyuk's body. He gradually began to feel the power it brought. Jin Hyuk clicked on the system section and checked. Alright, let's see its effect. Information update. Name Jin Hyuk. Gender male, age 27, level 1, strength 5, agility 6, stamina 7, magic 5, current skill points 12, profession none, ultimate skill none. Jin Hyuk was astonished, saying level 1 with 12 skill points. He happily thought, I am truly the strongest level 1. 1 hour later, information, the first greedy mangrove tree has been defeated. Video will be uploaded in 10 minutes. He read the comments. $4 5 minutes ago, insane. Someone defeated it. Red Horse PC bang. 3 minutes ago, how Lina did anyone defeat that tree babamba? 1 minute ago, another said, how pro does one have to be to defeat it? Rabbit Park said, that guy just got lucky. My brother, who used to be a top player, said that tree can't be defeated with simple dance moves. Grandkids borrowed account 2 minutes ago. That person commented, he spent 11 years of his life on that trash game that died a year ago. My family is trash. Before the comment I gave up after the 100th time. It made me almost crazy. He noticed the comment section started exploding. Kang Jin Hyuk looked at those comments and said that besides the initial remarks, the rest didn't believe him saying he got lucky or cheated. He suddenly thought, but system update video has been uploaded. He uploaded the video afterward. The doubtful comments disappeared after the video was uploaded. The chat began to shift. Public opinion. Heisenberg Boo, who, Feck91, commented, shut up. The heir to the throne's account said, did he hack the game or something? Another said, look at how he deflected the tree's attacks with that wooden stick. Victory. Another said, nothing to say but admiration. Insane Rabbit's victory. I only reached floor 7, and I'm not even close. Jin Hyuk observed that there were many comments, but they all shared a common opinion. He saw that meanwhile on his main account, a person named Kingman 10 minutes ago commented, my name is Park Hosik, the operator of 5-star semiconductor company. We can pay you 10 billion upfront and 100 million won per month. A person nicknamed Dog Dragon 2 minutes ago messaged, we can provide you with as much money as you want. Please contact us when you receive this message. Jin Hyuk calmly read those comments and thought, is it that great? It's true that at level 1 it's hard to defeat the greedy mangrove tree, but there's nothing to be surprised about. He lay stretched out on his chair thinking to himself, I guess most of them haven't even played half of the later floors of this game. I forgot that I should judge based on the general standard, not my personal one. Jin Hyuk looked at his computer screen and thought, anyway, for $1 billion, I've lived a very difficult life to get food. He suddenly remembered late on rent. Jin Hyuk recalled those hard times like starving for days just to buy a meal for mukbang streaming. He regretfully said, if this opportunity had come yesterday, I would have agreed immediately. Jin Hyuk changed his mind, but now he had no intention of sharing knowledge with anyone, whether for 1 or 10 billion won. He believed that now at this moment the most important thing is information. The second is exclusivity. He noted down his next goal. Jin Hyuk realized that the moment the game opened, mana from the Tower of Trials had flooded all of Seoul. It didn't have a clear impact, but there was a significant change. He looked at the displayed objects and muttered, those are the items outside the tower that became holy relics. Jin Hyuk thought, of course they are all fake because the legendary holy relics are inside the tower, so they are called replicas. To put it bluntly, they are fakes. Jin Hyuk looked at his phone and said, this is where most replicas are. He stood in front of the building thinking National Museum of Korea. He stated that the National Museum of Korea is considered a treasure trove with countless holy relics inside. He pondered the problem he wasn't the only one targeting the replicas. Unlike the greedy mangrove tree, which appeared regularly in 7 locations in Seoul, the National Museum of Korea is unique. There will be others from many places coming here for the holy relics. Jin Hyuk realized that among them, there would definitely be some from the top ranks. He grabbed and opened the museum door, walking straight in. Notification, you have entered the event area. He opened the door. It was completely different from his initial thought, quieter than I expected. Has no one arrived yet? Jin Hyuk noticed something behind him. He looked at something fallen on the ground and said, as expected, someone had already arrived. The body was completely burned, lying on the ground. Jin Hyuk looked straight ahead seriously, because times have changed. I thought others would adapt, but the gap between expectation and reality is much larger than we imagined. After only 1 day, people have become too reckless. Looking at the stairs leading to the upper floor, he remained deep in thought. What they are aiming for must be the holy relic stored in the medieval section. The holy relic that everyone who comes here wants to obtain. A vast map with countless symbols, the great capital of the Eastern Land. Of course, I'm not just focused on the map of Korea. The great map, now imbued with magical energy, containing information about the Tower of Trials, is the reason everyone wants it. Symbols for the starting areas began to appear clearly. It will tell us the locations of mazes and ruins and explain the items available there. Who wouldn't want to get them? Hands constantly reached upwards as if to grasp something. Although it only provided information up to floor 10, it was more than enough to ignite the light in people's hearts. Yes, everyone wanted to get it, and they would miss out on extremely important holy relics hidden beneath the mud. In a room all the furniture was broken, the sound of incessant fighting echoed. "You dead dog, let go. It's all mine." In that room, everything was in ruins and desolate, and the people they were fighting and attacking each other over some items. "Let go. You fuck." Immediately after, someone opened their mouth and shouted loudly. Everyone stand still. This shout brought all activity to a halt and captured everyone's attention. The muscular man sternly warned with folded arms. "From now on, anyone who moves will die by my hand." A man holding an iron bar heard that and immediately cursed nonsense. Another sneered, "No one here is scared by a few empty threats like that." Another man raised a blood-stained hammer, pointed at him and threatened, "More like if you dare to move a toe, I will crush your skull immediately." The man angrily glared, his eyes glinting fiercely, clenching his teeth. It seems things cannot be resolved with words. Immediately after he yelled loudly, his hands swelled, tearing his sleeves, transforming into two fierce arms. A girl exclaimed in shock, "This guy already has a unique skill." The blue-haired guy next to her cursed, "Damn it, this is dangerous." He transformed radiating strength and murderous intent and ordered, "That map is mine, get out." While he was furious, a voice suddenly asked, "Is that map yours?" An old man walked closer from afar. "Hey, I can't agree with those words." He turned and disdainfully asked, "Hey old man, are you crazy?" The old man, hearing his rude remark, replied, "My name is not old man, but Min Jungwoo. Living in harmony with plants and flowers is the meaning of my name." The man then furiously turned and yelled, "Did I ask you for an introduction? Look at my mood and get lost. I'll wring your wrinkled neck like a chicken's." The old man, seeing his disrespectful words, still didn't mind saying, "You are still young, yet you speak like that, and your tongue is sharper than a razor." Suddenly, he raised a finger, and a small light emanated from it, saying, "However," then he sternly asked, "Which do you think will be faster, you breaking my neck, or me turning you into ashes?" At this moment, the light in his hand had transformed into a small speck of fire. The man was utterly astonished. Magic. He waved his hand and said, "Take this." The speck of fire immediately shot straight forward. Immediately after, the speck of fire attacked him directly. The small speck of fire grew large, incinerating his entire body, causing him to scream in agony. The final outcome: the fire turned him into ashes, which vanished into thin air. His mouth exhaled a puff of smoke, ensuring that even his internal organs were reduced to ashes. The old man calmly turned away, saying his mouth was his downfall. His body finally collapsed into a pile. Lee Yuri spoke from behind, praising, "Wow, fire magic is really terrifying, isn't it? Luckily, I decided to join forces with you." The old man heard her voice and replied, "Lee Yuri, have you gotten the item yet? I'm counting on you for the rest." She, dressed in a uniform, slowly walked forward, assuring him, "Leave it to me." She held out a statue and said, "Just this guy." She used her magic, causing the statue's eyes to glow red, and warned, "If anyone gets in its way, it will deal with them immediately." From the small statue, a powerful source of magic erupted, causing the statue to gradually grow until it reached a certain large size, then stopped. The statue stood before her, raising its sword as if guarding her. She stood behind and ordered, "From now on, anyone who moves will be considered an enemy. Understood? I will let it chew your heads off." Then her youthful face blossomed into a beautiful smile, inquiring, "Good cooperation, okay?" The armed men around witnessing this scene cursed, "Fuck, why are there so many pro players? They have all awakened." Then they successively threw all their weapons to the ground, saying, "I will give up the map and all those other things too. Pick them all up." Lee Yuri, hearing that, happily clapped her hands. "Thank you." Suddenly her face darkened. A pair of shoes slowly stepped on the fragments moving forward. A young man calmly stepped over the scattered fragments, walking past the crowd. Jin Hyuk unhappily said, "You guys have messed up this whole place." Looking at the piles of items and books on the ground, he annoyedly asked, "Don't you people have any respect for history?" He picked up a torn piece of paper and happily dusted it off, but at least this one isn't torn. Suddenly, a voice called from behind him, "Hey carefree guy," making him annoyed, and his face darkened as he glared back. Lee Yuri was equally annoyed and asked, "Do you think I'm joking?" Immediately after, a large foot stomped on the ground. The large statue had arrived behind her and ordered, "Grab him." Immediately after, the statue fiercely charged forward with its sword. Its sword aimed straight at where he was standing, but Kang Jin Hyuk was completely unfazed. He showed no expression and didn't bother to dodge, calmly watching the sword hurtling towards him. Immediately after, when the sword was less than 1 centimeter away from him, Kang Jin Hyuk forcefully blocked the incoming sword with one hand and with the other hand in his pocket, showing off his cool and handsome demeanor. By some miraculous means, the sword, like a flexible ruler, recoiled upon violent impact with him and flew far away, dragging a long line on the ground. The spectators were stunned and bewildered, while Lee Yuri was visibly worried. They clearly saw a deep gash behind him, created by the sword, which made everyone exclaim, "What was that? What did that guy just do? Did he deflect the sword?" And that worked. He didn't even bother to dodge. His hand is still intact. But anyway, in this world, there are still masters. However, to be completely unharmed like him, honestly speaking, he has already stepped 1 foot into the gate of deification. He smirked triumphantly, looking at the feet behind him, silently assessing others. They don't know my current stats. That's why they are so dumbfounded. Next, he honestly asked his opponent, "What will you do next? Your pet dog. Its only weapon is gone." Surprised to be called out, she frantically searched through her backpack, pulling out a bunch of similar items, as if they were pebbles by the roadside that one picks up if they feel like it. Who said that I still have many other statues? As soon as she took them out, a surge of dark power surrounded the statues, erupting in fury, and her eyes became sharper and more astute than ever before, because now she didn't know the exact combat power of her opponent and the trump cards he held. A notification rang out, helping the viewers understand Holy Relic Anubis, God statue replica summoned. He indifferently watched her show off her power. When she had successfully summoned all of them, she raised an eyebrow and looked at her opponent. "So, let's see if you can still smile." She had the right to say that thanks to countless bodyguards who were incarnations of the holy statue, forming a protective army around her. "They're pretty good," he sincerely commented, while also evaluating her and her team. "She can summon 5 statues at once, with just a small amount of mana. This kid is no pushover. Just like the old man who used magic earlier. Quite a few people have escaped the beginner stage, haven't they?" He didn't know when he had spoken his thoughts aloud. She heard him, and her face fell. He carelessly explained. "Well, more precisely, it's somewhere between temporarily okay and good about like this." The more she looked at his arrogant demeanor, the more she disliked him, so she had to retort to ease her irritation. "Acting so cool, I don't like you at all." "Oh, really? Then let me show you." He looked up at her indifferently, perhaps because of his monolid eyes. Whenever he looked at someone, he always gave them the feeling of being humbled, or that he was superior. Everyone also kind of felt that. "It's not easy to get a chance to show off power," he thought to himself. "If the gap is too large, she won't understand. I have to show her firsthand what the current gap between the kid and me is." The glowing painting in his hand. At the same time, a notification rang out. "Mana has been transferred to the Pine Forest Tiger replica." He smirked triumphantly. Behind him the light grew increasingly intense. At the same time the ruler of the mountains appeared. Both complemented each other, creating an oppressive aura that crushed their opponent. She froze horrified. "No." Stepping down. The mighty tiger appeared before them with firm steps, showing the enemy who the ruler of the jungle was. A brief message appeared. "Chosen era. Information unknown." The guardian beast statue bared its fangs and clawed, trying to force the enemy to retreat. This action inadvertently tickled his funny bone. Stroking the mighty beast's head, he contemptuously said, "A stray dog dares to bare its teeth at the lord of the old jungle." Then he coldly waved his hand and ordered deal with all of them. As ordered, the mighty tiger roared and charged forward. On the other side, the dog howled, emitting a thick, dark aura. The mighty tiger extended its claws, and both engaged in battle. Thus a scene of 1 versus 5 unfolded. 1 tiger versus 5 holy relics. The mighty beast roared, beginning its rampage in all directions. The crazy dogs barked and fell, but after all their numbers were 5 times his side, so it was hard to wipe them out instantly. Both sides fell into a biting and wrestling stalemate. A flash of light streaked across the mighty beast's eyes. She fearfully retreated. "No way. I've heard of many ways to control artifacts, but I've never heard of this method. And this magical power too. My flesh feels like it's being torn apart. I can't win," she thought helplessly, as the mighty tiger gradually grew larger, creating a dazzling imprint on the sky. Lee Yuri fell to the ground, bewildered, staring at that mighty beast. A restrained tear did not fall. She felt wronged, thinking, "I thought I had an ace up my sleeve, but how? Who is he?" At this moment the battle ended. He suddenly appeared before her. "Give it to me," he impatiently said. She cautiously recoiled. "What do you mean?" He slowly bent down, half kneeling, and said directly, "The mask of Tutankhamun." Her eyes were still tear-filled, a mark showing how miserably she had failed before him. She irritably asked, "It's useless in Korea. What do you need it for?" It seemed she wouldn't cooperate. He stared blankly for a few seconds, then understood and beckoned with his finger. The beast quickly approached her. She trembled like a shivering dog compromising. "All right, I'll give it to you." From the backpack lying untouched after the battle, a mask was taken out. At the same time, a notification rang out, confirming it was authentic. "You have received the artifact replica of the Mask of Tutankhamun." Holding the mask in his hand, he excitedly thought, "Great, with this I'll get the second artifact soon." Suddenly she curiously asked, "Are you aiming for the great map of the Eastern Land?" Only then did he remember another important matter, the map. "Oh right, I almost forgot it," he thought, then mysteriously said, "Little girl, you don't need to worry about that." Before leaving, he stroked the mighty beast and ordered, "Guard this place. Don't let anyone pass." A terrifying aura of death emanated from around the mighty beast, forcing everyone to retreat. The mighty beast roared threateningly at anyone who intended to approach. Confident in it, he spent time pondering other matters. Preparations were complete. "Now then, let's go get the strongest skill in the Tower of Trials." Jin Hyuk had now reached the second floor of the National Museum. The surroundings were unusually silent. Youngwoo stood there sternly thinking to himself, Lee, Yuri, why did this happen? It turned out Kang Jin-hyuk had arrived and was examining the treasures on this floor with him. He anxiously assessed the young man beside him. Who is this kid and how did he get here? Don't tell me he defeated Lee Yuri to get up here. In front of the two of them was a barrier with incredibly powerful energy. Jin-hyuk stroked his chin, pondering for a moment, then concluded, I think this is a one-star barrier. Youngwoo smiled and replied, Oh ho, it seems you know about this. He stepped forward and placed his hand on the barrier. Immediately, countless electrical currents appeared. I have never seen such a barrier before. He didn't hesitate to exclaim, whether it's a magic attack or a physical one, none has any effect on it. Jin-hyuk also stepped forward and placed his hand on it, feeling it. He tried to close his eyes tightly, using his power to sense the location where the mana flow branched. After a long search, he finally got his wish. Jin-hyuk happily thought to himself, here it is. Jin-hyuk turned and said to Youngwoo, I think there's a way to destroy this, but there's a condition. Youngwoo, surprised, asked a condition. Kang Jin-hyuk glanced at him and said, You must continuously use your fire magic to weaken this protective barrier. Hearing that, he continued to ask, So how long do I have to use it? Kang Jin-hyuk immediately explained, Until I go inside and bring out the necessary relics. Hearing that, he stroked his chin and smiled. So you mean while you're inside, I'll just stand outside casting spells to help you? Kang Jin-hyuk immediately added, I can't maintain strong enough magic to weaken the barrier for that long. I know you might not believe me, but this is the only way. It's almost morning, and we can't leave here empty-handed. Can we? I'll let you keep the map because after all, I need something else. Youngwoo wasn't easily convinced. He secretly calculated the worst-case scenario in his mind, which was all his efforts going to waste. He smiled kindly and asked Jin-hyuk again, You promised to give me that map, right? Jin-hyuk smiled confidently and replied, Of course I don't want to turn a high-level magic user into an enemy. He sighed helplessly, thinking to himself, No matter how much I think this is the only way, it seems I'll have to trust him. He took a few steps forward and said, Very well, I'll trust you this time. Jin-hyuk placed his hand on the barrier and said, Then I'll rely on you. Old man Youngwoo began to channel his inner energy to cast a spell. I'll do my best. Then he tried his best to throw the flame in his hand. The fierce fire attacked the barrier intensely, so much so that the aftershocks of the energy splattered from it. Youngwoo's energy was strong enough to crack the barrier with a large fissure. Jin-hyuk recognized the opportunity and exclaimed, I'm going up, he thought to himself. He used all his strength to rush inside. Without much effort, Kang Jin-hyuk was already inside. Due to his excessive speed, he had to put his feet down to slow himself. Youngwoo frowned deeply. Sweat had been pouring down his forehead for a long time. Hurry up! Jin-hyuk immediately replied, Yes, but in his heart he thought to himself, I also intend to do my best. Jin-hyuk smirked, thinking to himself, but of course in my own way. He began to walk around observing the items, an ancient dynasty book, an ancient coffin, and an ancient sword. Jin-hyuk leisurely put his hands in his pockets, observed for a while, and concluded that unlike the lower floors, it seemed no one had been here yet. However, he was unexpectedly surprised that one thing was missing. Of course, besides this, it was the iron sword with the engraving of Emperor Qianlong. He also seemed to know who had taken the sword and silently judged in his heart. That person he finished his business and left, and I am sure that barrier was set up by him. Jin-hyuk planned in his mind to leave after getting what he wanted, regardless of whether others fought or not. This person wouldn't risk anything. However, he was very sure, but I bet you don't even know this. He walked forward, read the Holy Relic's information, and sighed, this and this. Jin-hyuk chuckled to himself, but what you took is nothing more than a second-rate relic. Very quickly, he found what he wanted. There it is, Sangpyeongtongbo, his unique inherent skill. Kang Jin-hyuk tightly held it in his hand, thinking, the last piece to create the strongest skill. The materials I need are... He began to review the materials, ceremonial Persian formwork, and the right eye of the Tutankhamun mask. He combined them, creating dazzling golden lights. By combining these two relics, the system notification also rang out at this moment. Two relics are reacting. Kang Jin-hyuk understood perfectly. A notification only appears when two compatible relics meet. His face was full of anticipation for what would happen next, and at the same time a notification appeared. He took out the coins he had just found. Kang Jin-hyuk understood very well that the system required him to pay an appropriate price if he wanted to continue. The system displayed a notification panel. Unique skill, fusion. Difficulty of achievement cannot be measured by completing the specific task. You can copy and store other players' exclusive skills in the world's memory and combine them to create stronger skills. His gaze gradually became more serious than ever. The system now continued to display a notification. However, the condition for copying skills may change based on the difficulty of the skill to be copied. Youngwoo on this side could barely hold on and called out, "Hey!" He constantly urged him, "If you're done, hurry up and get out. I don't think I can last much longer." A thought suddenly occurred to Kang Jin-hyuk. Let's see, to copy that old man's skill. His eyes gradually became cold. What do I need to do? Youngwoo was still passionately using his skill. Now the system rang out a notification again. Copying condition. Youngwoo has always hidden his emotions behind a mask. Make him reveal his true feelings. Jin-hyuk laughed and said, "Ha, in other words, A crazy thought now appeared in his head. I just need to piss the old man off, right? Jin Hyuk picked up the coin again and continued to use it. The system rang out a notification again. All three relics are reacting to each other. Finally, after a long wait, the result was in, against all odds, you have successfully combined the relics. Jin Hyuk witnessed this scene and couldn't help but secretly rejoice. The system once again announced, you have obtained the relic Eye of Truth, SS. The item Kang Jin Hyuk received was the Eye of Truth SS Difficulty of Achievement, SS Details. You can see other people's stats and know if they are telling the truth or lying 3 times a day. Jin Hyuk held the item in his hand and thought to himself, the Eye of Truth is the best of the 5 eyes in this world, but there's another reason I came to the National Museum today. Then, the system also added a hidden quest. You have successfully combined 3 B-grade or lower replica relics to create a grade 5 or higher relic. Then the system finally confirmed you have met the requirements. Energy flows quickly gathered. Now in his heart, Kang Jin Hyuk secretly planned to copy and store countless skills in this world, and use those skills to create even stronger skills than the originals. That will be his weapon to become the strongest. He was extremely proud of himself in this Tower of Trials. After a while, the system announced, you have acquired the unique skill Overlink World Memory is being created. Youngwoo outside was constantly urging Kid hurry up. Jin Hyuk heard him and casually said, you can stop using your skill now. Youngwoo was startled, not understanding what was happening. Jin Hyuk glanced at him and said, actually there was no reason for you to do that continuously from the start. Youngwoo asked, bewildered, huh? What do you mean? Then why did you tell me to use magic continuously? Jin Hyuk didn't answer but said 2 words, Kapo. Immediately the barrier was removed. He coldly said, because to break the barrier, all you have to do is say the Latin word. As he stepped through the barrier, he also muttered that word. Kappa Jin Hyuk clearly understood that the old man hadn't contributed any effort to breaking it. He thought to himself, if it couldn't be penetrated, then what's the point of continuously attacking? It's just a waste of mana. Like this, the old man's mana must be completely depleted. After ensuring everything was done, the next step is to piss him off. He looked up at the map hanging on the wall and thought, I already know everything about the tower, so this map, which only contains information up to the 10th floor, is useless to me. He smirked, thinking, but that doesn't mean I'll obediently hand it over. Youngwoo realized his intention and angrily yelled, what are you doing? Jin Hyuk smirked and said, haven't I told you? Jin Hyuk held up a lighter in his hand towards the map, saying, I don't need this. The flames spread very quickly and soon engulfed the map. Because people can get information up to the 10th floor through this map, the possibility of someone surpassing me still exists. Youngwoo saw this and kept yelling no. Now the map was completely incinerated. If so, the only way to ensure my position is to eliminate that possibility. Youngwoo loudly cursed, why did you burn it, you dog? I will kill you. I will chop you into pieces to satisfy my rage. You son of a bitch. Just as planned, Kang Jin Hyuk successfully angered his opponent. The system also immediately announced, you have met the conditions. You have successfully copied the skill Fire Elemental B. The save button also quickly appeared. Then the system also announced, the copied skill has been saved to the world's memory. Information about the elemental quickly appeared. Fire Elemental Difficulty of Achievement B. Details. You can control fire and your affinity with the element will increase. Jin Hyuk chuckled contentedly. Fire Elemental, huh? The first copied skill isn't too bad. Youngwoo angrily screamed. Non-stop, he seemed to want to attack him. You will regret this. I will make you pay for your actions. Jin Hyuk was not afraid and arrogantly said, it seems you don't understand what's happening. Why do you think I burned that map? The system also quickly announced Fire Elemental Level 1 is being activated. Immediately after, he also unleashed flames that looked even more imposing than his opponents. On this side, Youngwoo, with the tiny flame in his hand, couldn't help but be stunned. He looked at Jin Hyuk, thinking to himself, that skill is exactly like mine, but compared to it, mine is like a brat's. As soon as he thought this, he broke out in a cold sweat. That kid is not ordinary at all. What ordinary person would say they don't need the map? He asked with a trembling voice, Kang Jin Hyuk, who are you? Jin Hyuk said with arrogance, old man, if you want to climb the tower leisurely, listen carefully to what I'm about to say. He didn't know how much time had passed, but he had leisurely left that place. Preparing for conquest, as he walked, he thought to himself, counting himself, there were already 4 long-time residents who had appeared at the Korean National Museum. He understood why they wanted to minimize their own risk factors, especially since this world had transformed into a tower of trials. Kang Jin Hyuk stretched to relieve his fatigue and then thought, but they're planning to get even stronger. Kang Jin Hyuk's information panel quickly displayed name. Kang Jin Hyuk, gender male, age 27, level 1, strength 8, agility 8, vitality 7, mana 11. Skill points, 0. Occupation, none. Unique, skill, fusion skills, fire, elemental, level 1. Eye of Truth, level 1. Jin Hyuk smiled with immense satisfaction. I'm so cool, I need to get as many skills and unique skills as possible. He recalled a few minutes earlier he had reminded Youngwoo, I'll contact you later, old man. In the meantime, I want you and the girl downstairs to level up. He thought to himself, I already have a few chess pieces in my hand. but the road is still long. First, I need to collect the necessary skills. Jin Hyuk walked, calculating to himself. Since there's only one life, it's probably impossible to get all the skills. He looked at Jin Hyuk, thinking to himself, that skill is exactly like mine, but compared to it, mine is like a brat's. As soon as he thought this, he broke out in a cold sweat. That kid is not ordinary at all. What ordinary person would say they don't need the map? He asked with a trembling voice, Kang Jin Hyuk, who are you? Jin Hyuk said with arrogance, old man, if you want to climb the tower leisurely, listen carefully to what I'm about to say. He didn't know how much time had passed, but he had leisurely left that place. Preparing for conquest, as he walked, he thought to himself, counting himself, there were already 4 long-time residents who had appeared at the Korean National Museum. He understood why they wanted to minimize their own risk factors, especially since this world had transformed into a tower of trials. Kang Jin Hyuk stretched to relieve his fatigue and then thought, but they're planning to get even stronger. Kang Jin Hyuk's information panel quickly displayed name. Kang Jin Hyuk, gender male, age 27, level 1, strength 8, agility 8, vitality 7, mana 11, skill points 0, occupation none, unique skill, fusion skills, fire, elemental level 1, eye of truth level 1. Jin Hyuk smiled with immense satisfaction. I'm so cool, I need to get as many skills and unique skills as possible. He recalled a few minutes earlier he had reminded Youngwoo, I'll contact you later, old man. In the meantime, I want you and the girl downstairs to level up. He thought to himself, I already have a few chess pieces in my hand, but the road is still long. First, I need to collect the necessary skills. Jin Hyuk walked, calculating to himself. Since there's only one life, it's probably impossible to get all the skills. The most important and beneficial ones, he confidently thought to himself. I'll seize them all. Just as he was dreaming of a bright future, reality immediately hit him when his stomach rumbled. Looks like I've reached my limit. He quickly headed to a nearby restaurant. A bowl of beef noodle soup with pork hock right now would be amazing. When Kang Jin Hyuk entered the restaurant, he was astonished by the actions of the people there. Good heavens, what's going on? Everyone was glued to the TV screen, ignoring their food and drinks because of the news report. At least 23 people have died and 50 were injured at the Korean National Museum. And along with the injured victims, the number of dead continued to rise. The cause was believed to be that these people had targeted artifacts in the museum. Not only Korea, but also the US, Japan, Europe, and other countries. Everywhere in the world shared this scene of desolation and suffered similar accidents. Jin Hyuk heard this and thought to himself, just as I thought, players all over the world have also started taking action to prepare for climbing the tower. The news reporter then continued the broadcast. First, let's look at the security footage placed inside the building. The first image was of Lee Yuri standing there. Next was the scene of Jin Hyuk fighting. And then the scene of a fierce tiger emerging from a painting. The reporter exclaimed, this might be hard to believe, but the footage is absolutely real. Everyone in the restaurant was stunned, starting to murmur and discuss, I can't believe humans can do that. Who are these people? And that's the person who appeared in the Tower of Trials community, right? At this moment, another person asked, oh, you mean the one who defeated the Great Tree? Yeah, his movements look real. Jin Hyuk scratched his head, frustrated, thinking to himself, I haven't even set foot in the Tower of Trials yet, but so many people recognize me. I need to find a way to hide my identity. The news continued. The reporter added that the government has now begun investigating this mysterious tower, called the Tower of Trials, and has established a new organization called the Awakened Association, comprising individuals with special abilities. Jin Hyuk stared at the news, thinking, the Awakened Association? The government reacted faster than I thought. Considering they decided to form a group entirely of unique skill awakeners, it seems they've decided to handle this incident flexibly. Surprisingly, I thought it would take several weeks. The news reporter continued. Next, we'll hear information from a member related to this organization. A man with a long scar on his face said, I am Han Sang-jin, the commander-in-chief of the newly formed Awakened Association organization. Kang Jin Hyuk said nothing, just watched silently. The other man slowly continued, the reason I'm here before you is because I want to recruit more Awakened members. Everyone's level may differ, but we promise each of you an annual salary of up to 60 million and an official level 7 position in the government. He then emphasized, of course, for the person in the video, it's different. As Commander-in-Chief, I promise. He sternly emphasized, if you join us, we will give you anything you ask for. The special privileges for the person in the video made everyone in the restaurant exclaim in admiration, constantly asking, I wonder who he is? It's truly enviable. Wow, so impressive. That's enough to change a whole life. Jin Hyuk, hearing this, only smirked disdainfully. But for the person in the video, it's different, so their goal is actually me. He rubbed his chin in thought. They see me as just a tool, but no matter how attractive the offer, I won't join. However, he had his own decision. In this world, the value of an exceptional individual is higher than that of 100 average individuals combined. Han Sang, Jin understood that well, which is why he made such a meaningless offer to persuade him. Jin Hyuk looked at the man in front of him, thinking, Han Sang-jin, if he was chosen as commander, he must possess some skill. Otherwise, it's because he has the most experience with the Tower of Trials. He chuckled disdainfully. I hope it's because he has a good skill. It turned out Kang Jin-hyuk had his own calculations, because if so, his copying process would be much more interesting. He turned his head to look at the clock on the wall, because he was waiting for something to appear tonight at 7:00 p.m. Although it's just a small hand, many things will change when the hour hand moves to a new hour. At that moment, the Tower of Trials will open. Time passed very quickly. It wasn't long before it was 7:00 p.m. A notification also rang out. The Tower of Trials has opened. Players were now gathered densely passing through the portal into the Tower of Trials. Shouting continued to ring out. Stop pushing. We finally made it here. It's exactly the same as before. Amazing. I still can't believe it. Jin-hyuk heard this and thought to himself, looks like they're all new players. At this moment, the system displayed a notification. To celebrate entering the tower, you have been given 100 coins. Coins are the currency used inside the tower. Players can upload videos documenting their achievements and receive 100 coins for every 10,000 views. However, based on each player's status, there will be an additional fee. Views inside the tower for all players will only be counted for the first 10,000 views. So please be careful before deciding to choose a video to watch. Along with that, there will be a live streaming function. The system continued to instruct. This function can only be used when confronting bosses to advance to the next floor. Anyone found manipulating views or using other forms of cheating will receive appropriate penalties. Jin-hyuk heard this and excitedly exclaimed, "That's right, this is it." Kang Jin-hyuk thought to himself, the bridge between those who want to climb the tower and those who just want to continue living outside the broadcasting system. Viewers will choose to watch players who have a higher chance of performing well on higher floors, thereby increasing their views. This is the most interesting feature in the Tower of Trials. The more famous they are, the more coins players will receive. Players who received the information began to jostle and push each other. We need to get to the Goblin Cave quickly. If you find a good spot farming, there is easy. If you want to have fun, it's every man for himself. Everyone ran quickly, rushing past him. He was like a rock blocking the road. Jin-hyuk thought to himself, everyone's in such a hurry. He calmly thought, everyone wants to clear the stage as soon as possible and try to outperform others or get rich. I already know this whole place, so earning coins will be easy. However, I don't plan to upload videos yet. I can rely on videos to earn coins, but sharing the information I know, that would be too great a loss. Jin-hyuk gave a cunning smile, making his decision decided. The first thing I need to do is... He looked at everyone around him thinking of something very special, something no one had ever done. Because he remembered his previous experience, climbing to the 30th floor of the tower, suddenly I couldn't advance any further. To get to the next floor, I had to go down to the lower floors to search for hidden secrets. And this also meant I had to rely on past experience and retrace my every step. And then the answer lay in an abandoned ruin. But it was also thanks to that Kang Jin-hyuk realized, and then I finally discovered that my character was not perfect from the start. His body was trembling uncontrollably with anger. After searching for so long, the result turned out like this. The character I spent years grinding for turned out to be trash. At that time, the only thing Jin-hyuk could do was delete the character, the system, then presented a final confirmation prompt. Delete character. Are you sure you want to delete your character, yes or no? Now he was terribly helpless. I dedicated everything to it, so why is this the answer? Although he finally made his difficult decision no, even if the time he spent was wasted, he didn't hesitate to press the yes button on the screen. Then I still have to start over. Kang Jin-hyuk accepted deleting his character, and immediately streams of light enveloped the entire character's body. Kang Jin-hyuk's eyes were filled with determination. Next time I'll climb to the top of the tower. Back to the present, Kang Jin-hyuk sighed. It's already been 6 years since then. He now approached the abandoned ruins that had forced him to delete his character back then. The system notification rang out. Name Labyrinthos. Type Labyrinth. Difficulty B story. This is a labyrinth designed by Daedalus. This labyrinth is special due to its complexity and countless different types of traps made to prevent people from entering. Kang Jin-hyuk stood there thinking, the key to getting past the 30th floor is building a foundation, and the key to finding that lies in this labyrinthos. He slumped his face and sighed. It's like having to enlist for a second time. I can't believe I have to go through this again. As he reached out to the door to activate the labyrinth, he said, even so, as much as I hate it, this place still makes me a little nostalgic for the old days. Jin-hyuk decisively pushed the door open and stepped inside. All right, let's go in. The first thing that caught his eye was the ancient yet very poetic waiting hall. The patterns on the walls interspersed with faint butterflies made him exclaim at the scenery. Along with that, the fragrant scent here also made it difficult for him to forget that aroma. Jin-hyuk looked at them thinking, nothing has changed. Butterflies were flying freely high above. They seemed to have discovered someone arriving, then landed on Kang Jin-hyuk's waiting outstretched finger. Nice to meet you, light butterfly. However, his eyes narrowed tightly, glancing to the side, but he saw these unfamiliar people and asked, who are you? A girl leading them spoke up in greeting. Pleased to meet you. We were looking for a place to farm, but our final decision was to come in here before this labyrinth closes. Time rewound 10 minutes before entering the labyrinth. The group hiding behind discussed among themselves. A young man suddenly said, I know we're following him, because there might be something, but isn't that a labyrinth? The other person also wondered. What's his intention heading straight into the labyrinth right after entering the tower? The young man then continued, he can even open the door without a key. After some thought, the girl made a decision. Let's go in together. A member of the group questioned, go in there. How big is that place? Is it dangerous? We have no idea at all. The girl remained very firm in her decision. Just think a little. Everyone knows the early stage of the Tower of Trials is the most important stage, right? He can open the labyrinth door without a key, and if a newbie who's only level 1 has already entered, then that place certainly can't be that dangerous. After all, it's a labyrinth on the first floor. A girl in the group was still very hesitant, but do you think he'll be kind enough to share items with us? The girl gave a confident smile. Of course not. She put on a wicked face and continued, we just need to put him to eternal rest in there, and that's it. Park Hana smiled kindly and said, hello, sir. We were looking for a place to farm when we saw this labyrinth door open, so we decided to go in before it closes. She added, if you've already entered, it would be better if we went together, wouldn't it? People often say, the more the safer. Jin Hyuk looked at them with suspicious eyes, thinking to himself, they're targeting me because they have more people, huh? He wondered if that girl was the leader. Notification Eye of Truth has been activated. To reduce Jin Hyuk's suspicion, she began to introduce herself. My name is Park Hana, 22 years old this year, and I've also climbed to the second floor of the Tower of Trials. Her information, name Park, Hana gender, female age, 22, level 1, strength 4, vitality 5, agility 5, mana 10, unused, skill points, 0, occupation, none skills, socializing, level 1, quick walk, level 1, low level, recovery level 1. He looked at that information and thought she has an interesting skill. Regarding Park Hana's socializing skill, socializing has the ability to naturally get to know and become close with newly met people. About the skill. This skill is special because it can even eliminate incompatibilities between two sides. Notification copying condition. You need to spend at least 240 hours with Park Hana. However, after 240 hours, no one is allowed to be around you when you are with Park Hana. Jin Hyuk pondered deeply socializing her. He thought it would be very useful when dealing with her. The red-haired person behind said, I'm Jang Cheolshik. I just wandered a bit on the first floor and already quit the game. The person accompanying Park Hana behind also introduced himself. My name is Lee Heyman. I've also only played up to the first floor. The blue-shirted person said Jang Mina, third floor of the tower. The brightly-haired person saw this and also introduced himself. You can call me Chun Minguk. I've never played the Tower of Trials. The timid purple-shirted person said, and I'm Gwangwoo. This is my first time too. Kang Jin Hyuk happily introduced himself to them. My name is Kang Jin Hyuk. He realized the intention of the group earlier. Their plan to betray him was as clear as day. What's the point of remembering their names anyway? Park Hana used her socializing skill to approach Jin Hyuk, so then Mr. Jin Hyuk. She began to inquire about Jin Hyuk's abilities. What floor have you reached in the Tower of Trials? Her hand touched his body. A notification from the system Park Hana has used. Socializing skill level 1. He imagined the scene of them holding hands at a wedding. He discovered her scheme, so that's how it works. If I hadn't known about her skill beforehand, I would have definitely fallen for it, or I would have believed she was a trustworthy person. Don't cling to me, Jin Hyuk happily said, I can only play as far as I can get. Park Hana replied, oh, I see. She looked at him and thought, what's wrong with this guy? Socializing should have worked. Park Hana tried to ask for information about him, then tell us the characteristics of the labyrinth and the types of monsters that appear in it. Kang Jin Hyuk said, that's not difficult. He guided them through this labyrinth. Jin Hyuk intently explained it will change its location after a certain period of time. They were surprised by the information he provided. Park Hana exclaimed, huh, while the others stared blankly at Kang Jin Hyuk saying, suddenly something was happening beneath the red shoes. Suddenly something was happening beneath the red shoes. She worriedly asked, what's wrong? Park Hana said, this is only the first floor labyrinth. Countless labyrinths operate above, below, and on both sides. A loud shout warned Miss Hana get out of the way. Park Hana used her strength to block the attack created by the labyrinth. Jang Cheolshik warned the other person, stand still and you'll be crushed up there. Suddenly a pillar appeared and rocks and dirt splattered everywhere. The people accompanying Park Hana tiredly rolled on the ground because of the obstacle that just occurred. One of them said, honestly, this is crazy. Her eyes were filled with fear as she witnessed that scene. Lee Heyman gasped. I don't see Mina anywhere, Jang Cheolshik complained. I can't believe there's a labyrinth like this on the first floor. I thought other than the ruins, every place on the first floor was the same. Jin Hyuk looked at them and said, haven't you all experienced a terrain-changing labyrinth at least once? He added, why are you so surprised? Who in their right mind would go through something like this? She fearfully replied, this place is too dangerous for level 1. We have to get out of here quickly. She asked Lee Heyman, can you find the exit? Heyman, use your skill. She stammered that. Lee Heyman fearfully replied, because the labyrinth just shifted, my skill was cancelled. Park Hana panicked, so you can't find the exit. She fearfully replied, are we trapped here? Jin Hyuk looked at them thinking to himself, I kept wondering why they were so confident rushing in here, he realized. So they're just relying on a basic positioning skill. Clearly they're all newbies. They think entering a labyrinth is as easy as going to the market, I guess. Jin Hyuk laughed, scoffing at them. They really are idiots, but now it's probably almost time for that thing to start appearing. Park Hana glared at Jin Hyuk with murderous intent. She yelled loudly, "Hey!" Park Hana lunged towards him, claiming, "What do you mean? The labyrinth changed. Why didn't you tell us something so important sooner?" She loudly complained debris was flying everywhere. Park Hana pointed directly at his face and yelled, "We had to focus on dodging constantly, so we're all scraped up here because of you. We almost died." Jang Cheol-shik, seeing this from afar, said, "That's right. He knew everything from the beginning." Gwangwoo complained, "Us being separated from Mina is also your fault." He listened to their complaints, saw their true faces, and sighed with exasperation. He looked at them and said, "Hey, did I ever ask you to follow me?" She was stunned and asked, "What?" He looked at them and said, "You yourselves said you willingly came with me, right? I didn't force or drag anyone in here." Chun Minguk angrily said, "You dog, it's your fault we're stuck here." He yelled, "From the moment you caught my eye, I've hated you." Chun Minguk said, "Since things have come to this anyway." Suddenly, an axe-shaped weapon plunged straight into the floor. Chun Minguk fell unconscious on the ground, while the others could only watch in fear. Lee Heyman screamed, "Ah ha ha!" Brother Minguk. Gwangwoo asked, "What's wrong?" From nowhere, a giant foot lunged towards them. The Minotaur roared, "Ah ah ah! So dangerous!" They looked at it, recognizing it as a Minotaur. The axe stuck in the wall suddenly shook. Someone rushed over and snatched it. The Minotaur grabbed the axe and quickly charged towards where the person was standing, roaring loudly. They watched and screamed, "Ah ah!" She panicked, thinking, "I'm definitely dead." A blinding light appeared, along with a voice. "Excuse me, please move aside." From within it, Kang Jin Hyuk rushed out, radiating murderous intent. Park Hana looked at the situation in front of her with fear. He fought alone against the giant Minotaur. A voice screamed, "What are you doing?" He fought alone against the giant Minotaur. A voice screamed, "What are you doing?" Kang Jin Hyuk flew high, dodging one attack from it. The system announced, "You have dodged the attack." He secretly rejoiced, "Nice." He gave a sinister smile, knowing he had successfully dodged the attack notification. "You have gained the evasion imprint stat." Stat information update: imprint allows one to narrow the power gap when facing strong opponents, and increase the gap when facing weaker enemies. He touched the Minotaur's horn, claiming, "For every 3 stat points, it narrows the power gap by 1 level when facing stronger enemies." He gently used one hand to swing on its horn. He landed softly. Jin Hyuk realized after countless plays and mistakes that this method was the best he had found. He stood facing it and said, "This is how I can become stronger, even at level 1. His eyes looked at it challenging. It swung its axe down with all its might towards him. Jin Hyuk dodged the attack, realizing he had faced this bull's attacks thousands and tens of thousands of times. Notification: your gap stat has increased by 0.005. He believed his entire body had memorized its attack patterns. Your gap stat has increased by 0.005. He bravely fought, weaving through each attack from it. He said, "Because of me, the Minotaur continued to attack him with all its might again." He successfully dodged its attack and said, "It's an old hand notification. Your gap stat has increased by 0.005. Kang Jin Hyuk thought no matter how powerful an attack is, if it doesn't hit, it's useless. Gwangwoo shouted, "Good heavens, did he say we were going to pick a fight with someone like him?" She thought in horror, "I can't believe we just thought about killing that monster and stealing his stuff. That's truly insane." The Minotaur was furious from missing so many attacks. He laughed at it. "So slow, if you just keep swinging like that, when will you ever hit me?" The Minotaur roared in anger, echoing through the sky. It continued to pour all its vitality into the axe. Jin Hyuk held the sword in his hand and thought, becoming stronger in a short time is simple. He stood there waiting for its attack to come, thinking that he just needed to risk his own life. The Minotaur's attack grazed his neck for a fleeting moment. He said, "No risk, no reward." Notification: you have narrowly dodged a fatal blow. Your gap stat has increased by 1. He looked at it and thought, losing a few drops of blood for 1 stat point isn't too bad. Jin Hyuk looked at the streak of blood on his finger and said, "I can do it." He quickly dodged the attack, muttering to himself, "What if I make just 1 wrong step? It could be truly dangerous. Perhaps I should end this." Jin Hyuk looked at them outside, who were scared, and said, Well, look at that. Are those extras planning to run away?" Lee Heyman fearfully clung to her coat from behind and said, "Hana, I want to get out of here." Park Hana thought, if we just follow the wall, we'll definitely find the exit. Jin Hyuk ran over and said, "Where are you going?" She looked at him and stammered, "That?" Park Hana noticed the Minotaur behind him approaching them. He pointed behind him and said, "If you want to raise your stats, you should do something similar," Kang Jin Hyuk instructed. "Just by dodging its attacks, you'll get hidden stats. It sounds difficult, but it's not too hard. Try it." As he spoke, the Minotaur launched an attack towards them. If there's good fortune, it should be shared right. He grabbed her hand and pulled her back. Both of them on this side could do nothing but scream in fear. Park Hana looked at it in surprise. Its moves are too dangerous. One of its attacks had terrifying destructive power. The red-haired man fearfully sat on the ground looking at it and screaming, "Ah!" Jin Hyuk helplessly looked at them and said, Good heavens, why are you just standing there doing nothing? You should have dodged or moved away from it. He humorously said to the Minotaur, right little calf. Kang Jin-hyuk brazenly stood facing it. He used his power to move the stone pillar towards where the Minotaur was standing. The entire building in that area shook violently. The rocks there gradually moved back together. He stood from a distance and said, "Goodbye, Minotaur." Jin-hyuk hid to one side and said, "See you later." It stood there dumbfounded, looking at the stone wall right in front of it. The Minotaur snarled in anger, teeth clenched together. It burst out stretching and yelling. Inside the labyrinth, a swarm of butterflies fluttered forward. She gasped, just having escaped. The red-haired man said, "We almost died." "But Minguk and Hae-min," Park Hana asked him, "have you lost track of it? It won't chase us anymore, right?" He said the Minotaur was attracted by the bioluminescent substance from the night butterfly I touched earlier. Kang Jin-hyuk added, "So it'll probably continue to chase us." She asked in dissatisfaction, "Why did you do something so dangerous?" Jin-hyuk said, clearly puzzled, "It's obvious, isn't it? For stat increases, what else?" He held the knife and said, "Every time the labyrinth changes, I get a little break." He pointed the knife at the two of them and said, "And when that calf comes, we'll go out and play with it again. It's too effective." She fearfully asked, "So how much longer do we have to do this?" He replied, "Until we leave the labyrinth, to be exact 1 month." The red-haired man helped Park Hana up, thinking, "We have to stay in this living hell for another 30 days, she replied. "Then we'll find another way." Jin-hyuk heard their complaints. "If we weren't with you, we wouldn't be attacked by that monster." He happily replied, "That's true." Jin-hyuk asked them, "So which way are you planning to go?" The two left despite his attempts to stop them. Blindly fumbling around and wandering off will be even more dangerous. The two of them stood still helpless upon hearing him say that. One of them asked, "So do you know where the exit is?" Mr. Kang Jin-hyuk. Kang Jin-hyuk said, "This will be useful, I told you. I know this labyrinth better than anyone else. Of course, I know where the exit is." She looked at him thinking, "So we have no other choice." Jin-hyuk said, clearly puzzled, "It's obvious, isn't it? For stat increases, what else?" He held the knife and said, "Every time the labyrinth changes, I get a little break." He pointed the knife at the two of them and said, "And when that calf comes, we'll go out and play with it again. It's too effective." She fearfully asked, "So how much longer do we have to do this?" He replied, "Until we leave the labyrinth, to be exact 1 month." The red-haired man helped Park Hana up, thinking, "We have to stay in this living hell for another 30 days, she replied. "Then we'll find another way." Jin-hyuk heard their complaints. "If we weren't with you, we wouldn't be attacked by that monster." He happily replied, "That's true." Jin-hyuk asked them, "So which way are you planning to go?" The two left despite his attempts to stop them. Blindly fumbling around and wandering off will be even more dangerous. The two of them stood still helpless upon hearing him say that. One of them asked, "So do you know where the exit is?" Mr. Kang Jin-hyuk. Kang Jin-hyuk said, "This will be useful, I told you. I know this labyrinth better than anyone else. Of course, I know where the exit is." She looked at him thinking, "So we have no other choice." Park Hana reluctantly accepted. "Well, then we'll also." He gave a sinister smile and said, "What in this world is free, huh? If you want to eat without working, you'll only eat shit." Jin-hyuk pointed the knife at her neck. Then he laid out his condition, "Spit out all your coins." Myonghwan defended himself, shouting, "Ah!" The goblins saw this and immediately panicked. Myonghwan charged into the attack without hesitation. Having taken down one, Myonghwan smiled triumphantly. This video clip was uploaded to numerous accounts with comments saying, "This guy really soloed for 15 hours straight. If it were me, I'd have shat my pants." An account named Beyonce's Stance said, "I just had to go change my underwear." A user named Punctual Fairy said, "So scary. From now on, I need to subscribe and follow this guy's videos." Below, 2 more people replied with a sequence of numbers indicating agreement. Myonghwan happily laughed. I did it. Look, who knew it would actually succeed? That's amazing. The whole room is talking about you, Myonghwan. It seems fighting those damn goblins was worth it, huh? Just from the views alone, we probably got 1,000 coins. Myonghwan puffed out his chest. This is everyone's effort, thank you guys. Honestly, everyone thinks you did it by yourself. Thanks to our skillful support and the well-edited video. You got a buff, said Gwangwoo. I bet no one knows you got a buff. Myonghwan suddenly noticed, An account named Balbhuman commented 15 hours, and you call that short. I know someone who cleared it in 5 hours. Myonghwan wondered, Balbhuman's talking nonsense. Anyone can say that. Don't pay attention. This world is full of envious people. Someone frantically called Myonghwan. A notification appeared. A new video has been uploaded to the Hall of Fame. Myonghwan suddenly realized their video's ranking. The video dropped in rank and was dethroned. Myonghwan exclaimed agitatedly, "What the hell is this? Why suddenly?" 58. The top video titled The World's First Item plus 10. Successful Reinforcement. Myonghwan said, "What nonsense. What reinforcement to plus 10? Everyone erupted again that Fatty is really hacking right. The probability of reinforcing that is pure luck. Just take 1 part 8.14 million, then raise it to the power of 10, and you'll get it." So how much is it exactly? Myonghwan sweated. No way, how can something like this happen? Views have already reached 1,323,770. And 10 minutes ago, Kang Jin-hyuk urged, "Come on, pay attention, don't stand there like idiots, get to work." We need to collect moss for beds and wood for fires, so there's still a lot to do. Cheol-shik replied, I know I'm going all right. Cheol-shik looked back with a look of disgust. Kang Jin-hyuk said, now I guess I should start too, right? Item exchange. A notification appeared on the screen. Item exchange by coin. Welcome to the item exchange shop. Coins owned 5,000. Jin-hyuk muttered to himself. First, I have to deal with these coins. Let's see this one and this one too. Magic tarot card. Magic tarot card. A shattered piece of a wooden cart. 10 scrolls of fortune reinforcement. He said these might be trash items that no one wants to buy. Then Jin-hyuk clicked agree purchase item. The shop messaged thank you for your purchase. At this moment he said, but if used correctly, it will become incredibly important. I will combine these 3 items. A notification appeared on the screen. The 3 items above will be fused. Fusion complete Fortuna's lucky wheel. The unfinished goddess of fortune difficulty to obtain your luck will increase to maximum within 10 minutes. Single-use item, however, because its state is still incomplete, the range of use will be limited. Jin-hyuk exclaimed, I succeeded. Trying my luck has a limited range. If I don't know what the limit is, it will be a long time before I can take advantage of that luck. I of course know, because I remember everything that happened in my life. He waved his hand, creating a whirlwind. Your luck has increased to maximum. Countless scrolls fell out. Jin-hyuk said the successful reinforcement rate is 12%. That rate is indeed the second worst with no first. But if my luck is raised to the extreme, my success rate will be 100%. He thought triumphantly, I will use all of them on this knife. The system announced reinforcement successful. Jin-hyuk held the treasure in his hand. On the screen appeared the text, you have received old knife plus 10 max. Achievement reward. You are the first person to create a plus 10 reinforced item on the entire Korean server. You have received 5,000 coin. This achievement will be recorded in the Hall of Fame. Jin-hyuk immediately made a few basic moves with the newly acquired dragon-slaying machete. He thought I finally have something worth using. Meanwhile, on day 10 in Hell, for Park Hana and Cheol-shik, fires were created from collected dry wood. As for food, there was nothing but moss and mushrooms. Park Hana questioned existence. How can you eat that stuff? Suddenly Park Hana glanced over. Kang Jin-hyuk was sleeping soundly. Park Hana thought, and that minotaur keeps appearing. Without the teleporting labyrinth, we would have died a long time ago. Plus, this godlike person just takes everything so lightly. Park Hana was unwilling. No, if this continues, I will die. Cheol-shik replied, that's right, after being used by that demon, he will abandon us. Anonymous comments appeared one after another. Why don't you people just give up and stay put? It's clear, you can't do anything. It seems this is someone who once climbed to the 10th floor. Don't mess with him. Looking at their pale faces, you can tell these two are newbies, and that guy is crazy too. He knows they intend to kill him, but still politely converses with them. I am getting goosebumps. Park Hana asked softly, does anyone know anything about this person? Comments replied, can't find anything, because videos related to those who have played the Trial Tower are all blocked from YouTube to personal blogs. Even videos on phones are blocked. It's like they've been hacked. I tried searching for Jin-hyuk and found no channels. I think he doesn't intend to get subscribers. He probably just intends to go crazy soloing. Damn, if I had known this would happen, I would have farmed games like crazy. Back then, if I knew all the strategies and locations of awesome artifacts, it would be so cool. Park Hana collapsed, unable to believe she was seeking help from rumors outside the tower. Park Hana said, shut up. So have you told the leader about the situation here? What did Guild Raven say? Anonymous people replied, this labyrinth originally had little information. We would need at least 3 weeks to reach you guys. Park Hana despaired. I have to go through this for 3 more weeks. Cheol-shik asked Hana, what did the guild members say? What are you planning? Park Hana replied, no information at all. I am thinking, if we kill the bastard lying here and fortify ourselves in the stone room we found earlier and wait until the leader arrives, then perhaps we will escape 13. The problem is, how do we kill him? Cheol-shik was about to pick up a stone while he's sleeping. Like, this is an opportunity, isn't it? Let's do it now anyway. No one can survive being hit in the head, right? Park Hana suddenly stopped him. Wait. Cheol-shik asked why. Park Hana replied, his reflexes are as fast as a god's. Even if we confront him directly or ambush him, we won't have a chance to win. He will surely wake up, just as you're about to attack and counterattack, you'll see. Cheol-shik asked, so what do we do? Now we can't keep suffering like this. Park Hana replied, no one said we had to keep suffering. You know, I have an older brother who is a member of Guild Raven, right? He gave me this in case of a dangerous situation. This is the sting of a giant zucchini wasp. Just 1 drop of this poison is enough to melt 100 goblins. Park Hana's eyes lit up. If we're going to do it, we have to do it decisively, and we have to do it in a way that won't put us in danger. Jin-hyuk woke up frustrated. Only mushrooms and moss for food again. Their gathering skills are truly chopsticks made from rat bones, forks made from wood bark. It's like they're filming some survival videos. Park Hana replied, what else do you want? There's nothing else to eat around here if you want. Go hunt rats and butterflies to eat. She thought, how picky. Jin-hyuk said, Miss Park Hana, can you hand me the water bottle next to you, sir? Cheol-shik, can I have some more mushrooms? Cheol-shik asked, water, right? Park Hana asked again, you want more to eat? Jailshik said, I can't believe you like these disgusting things, please. Jin Hyuk happily ate. Park Hana thought to herself, I can't believe we have to serve him like this. Kang Jin Hyuk took a bite. Comments exploded. Eat more. This is what they call death by eating. The food is still hot, right? Park Hana and Jailshik rejoiced. He ate it. A plate of mushrooms fell to the ground. Surprisingly, Jailshik was the one who spat blood. He cried out because he was poisoned. Park Hana cried out, oh no. At this moment, Kang Jin Hyuk said, truly foolish. Did you think I would eat the food you gave me? Park Hana asked, you already knew that food was poisoned. Jin Hyuk replied, yes, when I asked you to get more food, before you two turned your backs, I swapped the two portions. Furthermore, you two should know that secret broadcasting is considered cheating. Park Hana screamed, what the hell are you talking about? Where's the proof? Comments exploded again. It seems he found out this is going to turn into real-life PK now. Then it's our turn, huh? Jin Hyuk mused, let's see. Broadcasting is only allowed when fighting boss monsters, blocking the path to the next floor. Anyone caught manipulating views or using other forms of cheating will receive appropriate penalties. The screen displayed, if no wrongdoing is detected, the reporter will be penalized. Do you want to continue reporting, yes or no? Jin Hyuk continued, you should look at your face while broadcasting. It's so obvious, isn't it? I can't believe it's already like this just by getting here, Park Hana. I am a little disappointed. Jin Hyuk did not hesitate and clicked the yes option. Park Hana was scared. What is this? The system announced. Capture complete anonymous class will be removed. Number of viewers 10. Park Hana stood frozen in fear. Chat room exploded. Raven Korkor has left the chat room. What the hell? Why did he suddenly leave? Wife Beater has left the chat room. Wait, hold on. Jack Power has left the chat room. Did someone just break the main gate? What is this? Current number of viewers 0. The system announced the recent viewers will not be able to watch videos for 1 month from now. If caught a second time, those viewers will be permanently banned. Park Hana panicked. What's happening? Where did everyone go? The system announced penalty for the current player. Will be a fate, full of hardship. Minotaur walked out. Park Hana was surprised, huh? Minotaur roared. After that, the Minotaur ran towards the two of them. Park Hana worried, this time you'll fight too, right? Kang Jin Hyuk smiled. Look at this guy. Park Hana fretted. Tell me which way to run. Hurry, it's coming. Jin Hyuk asked. Miss Park Hana, you really have no shame, do you? You two just tried to poison me. Why do you think I should tell you? Park Hana replied, because you've always done so until now. Jin Hyuk said, that huh? The screen displayed copy condition, you must be with Park Hana for at least 240 hours. However, after 240 hours, no third person is allowed to be present, besides you and Park Hana. You have met the conditions, you have successfully copied the communication skill. Kang Jin Hyuk said, I don't need you anymore. Park Hana trembled. Wait, you'll regret this. My leader is from Guild Draven. The Minotaur charged and threw Park Hana. She cried out, At this moment, Kang Jin Hyuk had already leaped into the air. He warned, make sure to look closely from there so you know who you should fear more between me and that silly guild. Who is the person you should fear more? Finally, Kang Jin Hyuk lunged down and counterattacked the Minotaur. He thought still too shallow. He wound up again. Jin Hyuk thought to himself, I can't kill it anyway, that's why. The ground cracked open. Jin Hyuk thought, I won't be able to kill it anyway, that's why. He looked behind him, then suddenly passed by the Minotaur. Jin Hyuk thought, I just need to make it unable to kill me. The system announced Fire Element Level 1 has been activated. The Minotaur roared loudly. Kang Jin Hyuk slashed its leg, causing the Minotaur to fall to its knees. Kang Jin Hyuk said, don't go crazy. All your muscles are tense, that makes the meat hard to chew. Jin Hyuk thought to himself, it's almost time. The Minotaur stopped for about 5 seconds. Jin Hyuk thought the moment it plays its trump card. The system announced Labyrinth Guardian Minotaur has activated Rampage State Skill Level 10. The Minotaur tensed its body, stomped heavily on the ground. The Minotaur became more furious. Jin Hyuk calmly defended, Park Hana cried, thinking, how can I defeat that thing? The Minotaur at this moment was like a raging super beast. The system displayed Rampage Level 10. Skill description, within 5 minutes of activation. Your attack power, attack speed, and sword swinging speed will increase by 30%. Bonus effect intelligence temporarily increases. You can speak the opponent's language. The Minotaur roared, you human, I will crush you and scatter your flesh throughout this dungeon. So you can no longer trespass here. Kang Jin Hyuk said, it seems my magic proficiency has increased compared to before, not bad. His eyes burned, come. The Minotaur charged, I will destroy you. The sound of 2 weapons clashing. Sparks appeared. The extremely fierce confrontation, Kang Jin Hyuk still controlled the situation. The Minotaur also continuously attacked. Park Hana said no way. He no longer dodged, but confronted the monster directly. Park Hana looked at the Minotaur and thought that boss has activated its level 10 skill. Even if Guild Raven combined forces, they couldn't defeat it yet. Jin Hyuk was still fighting hard. Park Hana doubted reality. How can he still smile in this situation? At this moment, Jin Hyuk thought it's like time has stopped. I hate having to start over even though I have come so far. I am just helpless before the truth that nothing will ever change when the system said you have died. Kang Jin Hyuk thought whether in real life or in game, everything is as hard as hell. However, at this moment, the system announced distance. Stat received 57. Jin Hyuk recalled the moments I had overcome. He thought only this world. When everything supports him, Jin Hyuk thought to himself, it always responds to me. The system announced distance stat has increased by 0.005. Jin Hyuk raised his sword. The Minotaur mercilessly destroyed everything. At this moment, the Minotaur was like the Grim Reaper. The ground seemed to turn to dust. The determination in Jin Hyuk's eyes was clear. The Minotaur roared. He dealt with it using his agility. The Minotaur sneered, you only pretend to be strong human in the end. You can't even scratch me. Jin Hyuk, compared to the Minotaur, was truly tiny. Jin Hyuk, with his unstoppable legs, he turned his head to look. The system notification appeared. The Labyrinth Guardian Minotaur's time limit has expired. Kang Jin Hyuk said, 5 minutes have passed. The Minotaur was angry. You arrogant human. Rampage is a skill that allows the user to release extreme power for 5 minutes. However, after those 5 minutes, the user will be unable to move for 24 hours. The system announced the Labyrinth Guardian Minotaur will be immobilized for 24 hours. The Minotaur was frustrated, unable to do anything that human Kang Jin Hyuk thought to himself. 57 distance points. That means I closed a gap of 19 levels. Jin Hyuk thought, with 20 days remaining at this rate, I will reach the 100-point goal. Park Hana asked, is it over? Kang Jin Hyuk replied, it only stopped because Rampage wore off. If we move and wait for about another day, it will chase us again. Park Hana's face turned pale. Can I endure this any longer? Jin Hyuk said, there are still 20 days left. It's not over yet. 20 days later, it was a chaotic scene again. The Minotaur was as aggressive as ever. Jin Hyuk thought, one slash on the right side of the screen. The distance stat has increased by 0.015. Jin Hyuk thought to himself, continuous slashes at the bottom of the screen. The distance stat has increased by 0.015 again. Distance stat received 100. Jin Hyuk sighed in relief. Finally, the goal is complete. Why do I feel like you're getting weaker every day? The Minotaur was knocked out. Kang Jin Hyuk thought to himself, it must be my imagination. When he stepped on the Minotaur's horn, he was arrogant. Farewell, Black Bull. Jin Hyuk said now it's just you to deal with. Park Hana panicked and asked, deal with me. Jin Hyuk declared, from now on, I am officially recruiting interns for the company. Park Hana asked, interns? Jin Hyuk said, you seem to lack ambition, not interested. Park Hana replied, I am interested. Please let me in. I have longed to be recruited by this company for a long time. Kang Jin Hyuk said, alright, this candidate is quite enthusiastic. So I have a question. Tell me what you can do for the company in the future. Park Hana hesitated. Communication. My unique skill is communication. I believe that skill will be useful for the company's future projects. Jin Hyuk thought she already gave up. He was bored. Anything else? Park Hana said, I will never betray you. Kang Jin Hyuk asked, that's all. Honestly, I am a little disappointed. I will announce the company's first candidate. Park Hana was scared. No, give me more time to think. Jin Hyuk replied, not qualified. Park Hana exclaimed, Brahm's ring. I will give you Brahm's ring. My brother exchanged Korean ginseng for that with China, please. At least let me keep my life. Kang Jin Hyuk thought so. Braham's ring fell into Guild Draven's hands. Braham's ring, one of the best items that can be obtained on the first floor. The user will have increased movement speed, magic resistance, and monster magic suppression. 3 useful effects. The system displayed Eye of Truth skill level 1 has been activated. Park Hana's words are true. Kang Jin Hyuk thought, it seems she is not lying. He finally agreed. Congratulations, you have become an intern at Going Company Park. Hana sighed in relief. I am alive. Jin Hyuk said, our company does not pay interns. Whenever I call you, you must be present. Whether it's 3 a.m. or in the middle of Jeju Island, it doesn't matter, so remember that. Most importantly, there must be a contract, right? Park Hana asked, a contract I have to write that. The system announced opening world memories. Kang Jin Hyuk replied, yes, of course. He brought out communication skill, C and fire element. Skill B, communication level 1, fire element level 1-2. Skills have been merged. Kang Jin Hyuk said it will be a bit hot. The system announced received Soul Seal A. Park Hana asked, is that a contract? Jin Hyuk said, so you think we'll just write a paper contract and stamp it, then we're done? Welcome to Going Company Intern Park. Hana cried soundlessly. Wait. The system recorded Soul Seal level 1 has been stamped on Park Hana's face. She screamed in pain. Soul Seal level 1. Soul Seal difficulty to obtain. A details a seal will be stamped on the target. The target with this seal will have to obey all commands of the caster. Any actions causing harm to the caster are forbidden. Failure in these matters will cause the sealed person full body pain. The door opened. Park Hana exclaimed, finally, I see the light. The system announced you have successfully cleared the first floor's labyrinth for the first time. Park Hana rejoiced loudly. I am alive. Finally, I am alive. The screen displayed the clearing process will be recorded in the Hall of Fame tomorrow. Each player will receive 5,000 coin. Park Hana said, huff. So this is the result of all my hardships. Kang Jin Hyuk called intern. Park Hana replied, yes, boss. Kang Jin Hyuk said, give it all to me. He thought smugly, so I have a total of 10,000 coins. By this point, I am definitely the person with the most coins. Kang Jin Hyuk reminded, oh right, go get Braham's ring and bring it to me in 3 days. Park Hana was bewildered. No way, 3 days is too short. Kang Jin Hyuk immediately reduced the price to 2 days. Park Hana replied wearily, yes, I will try to get it. On the news board, a reporter said Guild Dragon is said to represent our country and will set off to attack the boss in a week. Everyone in Guild Dragon knows that I am currently a member of South Korea's #1 guild, because currently the Americas, Europe and Japan are struggling quite a bit, so expectations for us in South Korea are quite high. Do you still want to remain silent about them? The interviewed person said yes, instead of constantly waiting for other countries to help. Isn't it best that we find a way and break through? I think Guild Dragon alone is enough. Jin Hyuk asked, only 1 month and already attacking the 3rd floor boss. He thought, I am not in that much of a hurry. I wonder how much that guy will regret it after this is over. I understand they are very impatient. Everyone wants to seize the resources in the tower as quickly as possible. But the fixed time for each week is a 90-day week next floor, D90. In other words, there's no need to go to the 2nd floor yet, let alone the 3rd floor. Their strength isn't enough, and the difficulty has already increased the screen displayed next week. Kang Jin Hyuk continued, then the moment they step into that world, the pressure of difficulty on them will be immense. If humanity collapses, there's no replaying. Kang Jin Hyuk said, first, gather information, see what has happened in the past month. To get quality information amidst a society full of useless and false information like this, I need someone I can trust, a reliable source I have known for a long time. Jin Hyuk looked at his phone, prominent search results. Looking at the input box, Jin Hyuk wondered, is that all there is? The next day at a cafe, Lee Taemin spoke, hello, I am Human B. My real name is Lee Taemin. Then Yu Yeonhwa said, and I am Nuclear Fish. My real name is Yu Yeonhwa. Jin Hyuk was surprised. Not everyone looks like they do in the game 2 years ago when I was grinding the Trial Tower game with the people here. I never would have imagined our first meeting would be like this. The information board displayed Eye of Truth Level 1 has been activated. Name, Lee Taemin. Gender male, age 23. Level 11. Strength, 16. Agility, 15. Vitality, 13. Magic, 21. Skill points, 0. Coins, 2,500. Profession non-unique skill, Emperor's Machine Sandbox skill level 2, Guidance level 2, Hack level 2. Kang Jin Hyuk thought to himself, just as I thought he received the title Emperor's Machine. This is a unique skill specializing in large-scale battles. Besides consuming a lot of magic, this skill truly has nothing else to complain about. The information board displayed name, Yu Yeonhwa, gender female, age 25, level 12, strength 17, agility 22, vitality 25, magic 6, skill points 0 coins, 4775. Profession none, unique skill. Extreme Taekwondo. Mind control skill, Hwarang Spear Style, level 2. Guidance, level 2. Magic Reinforcement, level 2. Jin Hyuk thought, is that a unique skill specialized in close quarters, combat with similar levels? They must have farmed monsters together. And it makes sense. They had such good chemistry. Before information displayed copy condition. These two are colleagues who have known each other for quite some time. When all 3 of you reach the 20th floor, you will be able to copy Lee Taemin's skill. Lee Taemin said, oh, it's your turn. Jin Hyuk startled. My name is Jin Hyuk. Nickname Yoongapon, he thought embarrassedly. Why did I really choose this name 11 years ago? He said I am 27 years old and used to be a paprika on BJ TV. Lee Taemin was surprised. You used to be on BJ. If it's paprika, I follow it constantly. Kang Jin Hyuk replied, I quit now. Lee Taemin said, come on, keep talking. It's been so long since we met in the game. Yu Yeonhwa agreed, that's right. We are comfortable too. Kang Jin Hyuk replied, oh, I understand. He thought both of them seemed quite approachable. I am tired of always facing those who only wait to betray and only want to exploit me. I'm so tired. But these people, even though it's our first meeting, I still feel so comfortable. So I can ask Taemin and Yeonhwa about what happened outside the labyrinth in that month. Jin Hyuk spoke changes in guilds worldwide, broadcasting trends on BJ, and finally a group called Mine, specializing in kidnapping players and operating coin production factories. Lee Taemin asked, by the way, you said you had to go somewhere for a month. Kang Jin Hyuk replied, that's right, Lee Taemin said. So that means you haven't taken the test yet, right? Jin Hyuk was confused. The test. Suddenly they were jostling in the crowded streets. Lee Taemin said, as soon as the trial tower appeared, people flocked in like ants. But from the 2nd floor onwards, the number of deaths began to spike. So Korea started preventing those who couldn't complete the test from going to the upper floors. Yu Yeonhwa said, and this is how you'll get an authentication code. Kang Jin Hyuk thought Han Sang-jin, chairman of the Awakened Association, with the mere excuse that it would reduce the number of casualties, he successfully found a method to recruit talented people. Since the system of those associations is like that, I will exploit it in my own way. Jin Hyuk thought after the Awakened Association was established, players who received an F grade would not be allowed to set foot on the 2nd floor. However, conversely, if a player had a high score, the government and guilds would flock to recruit that person. That's why there are only 3 types of people in the test area. First, those desperate to be in the top. They chanted to heaven and prayed to Buddha for a high score they didn't need. A D and E would be fine. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Second, those who came to help those capable of climbing the tower. They wondered, which guild should I pay attention to today? Surely something special will happen this time. They were surprised when Jin Hyuk spoke at this moment. And finally, those who have proven themselves to the whole world. The crowd was in a frenzy. That's Park Hana Park. Hana from Guild Raven. Isn't she the one who survived the labyrinth? And next to her is Park Hajin, the rising star of Guild Draven.